What's going on, gamers? It's your man here, Isaiah Uchiha Blaze 60fps HD, back with another video on The Division. Now, as I stated in my last video, The Division is a part of a new wave of games that have been grabbing a lot of attention in the YouTube world, and there seems to be a lot of confusion on that game at hand. So, I wanted to take this time and shed light and provide some clarity to all my fellow gamers. Now, let's get into it. So, let's rewind back to Cali to E3 2013. When The Division was announced, I and my fellow gamers were impressed at the graphical fidelity and were elated to find another Tom Clancy tactical survival game with RPG elements. As time went on, we all started to learn about the Dark Zone and get more generalized information about the game, and my hype was instantly turned down. Turned down for what? As I stated before, The Division was riding on a wave that has been and still is very much alive. Now, maybe I thought things were subject to change, but I picked up this game at my local GameStop, and since then, I don't know if I should keep it and hope for improvement, or trade it in for a rip-off percentage of its original asking price. This is some shit GameStop really needs to quit doing. You're pissing me off with that shit. The Division has had me at a cliffhanger, and I'm desperately trying to stay on balance. I say this because unlike so many other games that are aiming to be photorealistic and will then probably get a graphical downgrade for consoles, I mean, let's just be honest here, The Division blurs lines between reality and unbelievable. On one hand, the devs have made a beautiful and exquisite virtual New York that is down to a T, and very realistic missions are added in, and you get a realistic doomsday scenario. But on the other hand, the game's mechanics don't support the idea of realism. If I shoot you in the head with an AK-47, you should be on the ground in seconds, not twitching back and forth doing the fucking thriller dance like fucking Michael Jackson. I found myself ripping the hair out of my luscious and moisturized scalp from dying so many times during my first few hours of playing the game. This disconnect is an immediate turnoff, as it just so happens that the enemy AI isn't smart, they're just overpowered and heavily protected. Man, I gotta... gonna get hot, man, I'm telling you, man, this is... some bullshit. I refuse to let you guys think that this game is all bad. There are some positives to this game. Now, a lot of people were comparing this game to Destiny, and is it like Destiny? Yeah, kind of. I mean, you do have the same core principle design, which is a shooter RPG. The process of looting is also identical, and the grind factor towards leveling up is less of a pain in the ass, to be completely honest with you. In Destiny Year 1, there were so many conditions and progression bars that you had to complete to get the best gear. And exotics and rare items and weapons in the game were rare Pokemon that were hard to capture, even after doing endless raids and crucible matches. But all that seems to be improved in The Division. To keep it simple, if you put in the work, you get rewarded. However, The Division can also be very brutal. If you end up going rogue, you will be punished severely in loss of credits and experiences. Another thing that was comparable to Destiny, or should I say, copy-paste, copy-paste, woo! That's a Diggy Simmons song if you guys don't know, is the repetitive mission structure. It's exactly the same. You can find these side quests in more of Ubisoft games like Far Cry 3, Assassin's Creed, you know, and you'll be doing simple stuff like saving hostages, assassination missions, and collecting items. In the main story mission, you go from one place to another, shooting waves of enemies until you get to a mini boss. You defeat that boss, then there's more enemies. After you defeat those enemies, there's a bigger boss. It's just so repetitive, and it's just... oh my gosh. In my opinion, the best aspect of this game is the Dark Zone, which includes PvP interactions. I do want to say this, there should be some type of team deathmatch in this area, but the Dark Zone still has a lot of areas of improvement. The Dark Zone is where that grind factor comes into play. If you want the goodies, come to the Dark Zone. One thing that needs improvement is the intent for a player to go rogue. The the devs should do some tuning, something to make a clear distinction of accidentally shooting a player due to chaos and actually wanting to go rogue and take advantage of a situation. Now, the last thing that I really want to touch base on is the story. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, so I'll just touch on the basics. While playing this game, the majority of your time is going to be spent on cleaning the streets, getting rid of enemies. What do you expect? The next part of your time is going to be trying to find a cure for the virus, which is why you're out there in the first place. Now, while this story has potential, it's pretty much shoved up your ass, with no lube or lotion whatsoever. Why is it wasted? Well, let's go down the list. There's no character development, uninspiring repetitive mission structure, a huge lack of character interaction, and then your character, who is the main character of the story, doesn't even have a voice. The problem with this story is that it just glides along without keeping a player engaged. The most important characters are held back from the player through collectibles, which you have to find. And when you meet said characters, there's no emotional pull or connection from the events that took place before. Instead, they're just thrown away with the rest of the enemy AI in the story. This lack of character development and interaction takes away from the game's story on a deeper level of immersion and connectivity. So, you sat here for 6 minutes and watched me babble on about The Division. So, you're probably sitting there like, well, Isaiah, what's your opinion? What do you think? Should I get the game? Should I not get the game? Well, I'll tell you like this. We as gamers can judge a game based on the developer's idea for a game and how that idea is brought to life with the gamer's experience. A pattern that I've seen is that when games are critically praised, the developer's vision aligns with the player's experience. One clear-cut example is The Witcher 3. The game is loved by many because the developers took the time to improve upon their previous ideas, and the players were able to have a vast variety of gameplay experiences that were ultimately positive. With all that being said, The Division has a great idea in concept, but it isn't executed and it's not conveyed well enough over the player's experiences. In my opinion, it just has too many things holding it back from being a great game. Or for a better choice of words, a game that we all know it can be. Guys, it has been Isaiah Uchiha Plays 60 FPS HD. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned because I got a whole lot more content on the way. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. Somewhere over the rainbow. Y'all like my angelic voice? Peace out, guys.